Welcome to Play Your Way, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Johnny Murray here, and welcome to another week of the podcast where we have a lot of games to talk about, a lot of things to talk about, a lot of news to talk about. This is your video game podcast covering gaming news, reviews, and more. And today, we have quite a few things that we need to discuss because, let's just say video games, for the past week, really, video games have been super busy. There's just been a lot happening, a lot of news breaking out, a lot of new game releases, a lot of reviews, and so we're kind of gonna, or I'm at least here, solo podcast today. Don't have a guest with me today. We are going to just talk about everything that we've missed since the last podcast, which it's been about a week. When was the last podcast? Hang on. Let me check this real quick. Let me get my facts straight. It was February 26th, so about 2 weeks ago. And so, yeah, we're now back with a podcast this week. And we have things to talk about. We have Split Fiction. We have Monster Hunter Wilds. We have Death Stranding 2 trailer. We have a Silent Hill event on the way. We have a bunch of Xbox news we got to talk about. A lot of predictions to do there. We have BlizzCon that was just announced. We just have a lot to go over. We have a lot to go over, and I'm very excited to go into a lot of it. And so I'm very excited to get into it. But let's do some housekeeping first. On the channel right now, just did a reaction and a video to the Death Stranding 2 trailer. We're gonna talk about that for sure. A lot, but yeah, it's just been absolutely amazing. Thank you all so much for all the support on the videos. At the time of recording this, right now, the Death Stranding 2 trailer reaction is at 4.9 thousand views, and with 215 likes. So thank y'all so much for that. I know that's not even just because, I appreciate everybody in the comments saying how great of a reaction it was and all that, but also the trailer was, the trailer speaks for itself. It's one of the best trailers ever, and everybody has just been showing so much passion, not only for the trailer, but just for video games and how much it means to them and how much they respect the art form, and it's just so great to see that. Number one, I'm able to even react to that, and number two, the fact that we even get to live in a world where that is a thing. Like, it's just so great to see such an awesome moment in the industry. But then also have the review up for Monster Hunter Wilds and Split Fiction. Make sure you go check those out. I'll be talking about those in this podcast. We're going to do a little recap over my reviews. Did a reaction to the Pokemon Presents. Don't know. Yeah, that was after the last podcast. So yeah, make sure you go check out that. I have a bunch of videos on the way soon as well. I'm going to be talking about Pokemon Legends Z through A. And we're going to be doing a bunch of other things as well. So, without further ado, let's get into the podcast, man, with Tradition. Let's start with Tradition. What have I been playing? Now, I'm actually going to start off by shouting out my sister, Loki. She's halfway through Dead Space. Can't believe I'm even saying that, to be honest with you, because if you would have asked me a year ago, she doesn't even know what Dead Space is. She's never played a horror game. She's never even played a video game. Okay, I take it back. She's played a video game, but she's never beaten, like, a single-player game before. And not only that, but she's beaten all the Mass Effect games. She's beaten Dragon Age of Vanguard 20,000 times at this rate. And now she's halfway through Dead Space, that's crazy. That's crazy. So, shout out to her. But what have I been playing, man? What everybody's been playing, really. Monster Hunter Wilds, for sure. Split Fiction, for sure. Honestly, that's probably about it. No, and then I also been playing WWE. So we're gonna jump right into WWE because that's the one that doesn't have its own segment. And so WWE 2K25, man, the cover is Roman Reigns. And honestly, I'm having a blast with it. It's WWE. You're gonna get your mode, your universe mode, your GM mode, your gameplay, your match playing. You're gonna get your creation suite. So create a superstar, create an entrance, create a show, all that stuff, and it's really good. But then also, I really like the showcase this year where we're going through the whole bloodline. So The Rock's bloodline, Roman Reigns' bloodline, all that stuff. We're going through the whole family. And just visiting moments throughout all their careers. And that's really awesome. It's really fun. But I'm really am loving GM mode. GM mode's the mode that I've been loving for the past like 3-4 years of WWE games. It's just such a fun mode. And this year they've just added a quite a good chunk of differences and new additions to really make it feel just updated. And yeah, it's just been an absolute blast. So I'm definitely gonna be continuing to play that. What is on my to playlist for this upcoming week? Basically, we have about a week until, a little over a week until Assassin's Creed Shadows comes out. So I do plan on playing some things in the meantime. One thing that I plan on playing is actually No Rest for the Wicked by Moon Studios, the studio behind Ori. I just keep seeing things about it, and I'm just remembering how much fun I had with it for the very little time that I actually spent with it. And so it's just something I want to go back to. That's probably something I'll go back to on stream one of these days soon, and we'll play. But then also I'm thinking about probably trying to finish Mass Effect 2 in the meantime. And so we'll kind of see what all that happens. But the problem is I have been getting an urge to replay Death Stranding 1 because of all this Death Stranding stuff. So we'll see. My urge may overpower the other things that I want to do. So we'll kind of have to see how that plays out. But for the most part, just been playing all the new stuff. And now that we actually somewhat have a break between new releases, I can actually decide to play whatever I want in a way. Which granted I could always do that, but I like to always stay on top of all the releases and play everything. So, I mean, we went 5 weeks in a row or 4 weeks in a row. No, 5 weeks in a row. We went 5 weeks in a row with big video game releases. Granted, the very first week I didn't like beat the game. I barely even played the game. But the first week was Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. It was an absolute breakout hit. I mean, just insane success over there. Then it went to Avowed the week afterwards. Beat that game. Absolutely loved it. Then we went to Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. I still can't get over that name, no matter how many times I say it. Love that game. And then we went to Monster Hunter Wilds. Freaking love that game. That game was incredible. Just loved every second with it. And then we went to Split Fiction. Absolutely amazing game right there. And so it's just been nonstop. Like, it's been nonstop. It's in a weird way, because like me and Austin always say like 2025 is gonna be the best year of gaming, right? And to a certain degree, I still think that is gonna be the case. We'll see. I'm not super confident, like, in the fact that, like, saying it's going to be the best year ever in gaming. But it's going to be one of the best, that's for sure. It's going to depend on release dates, because for how many games that have supposedly 2025 releases, we do not have a lot of release dates for a lot of those. And the problem is GTA 5 is still slated for 2025. If that does come out, that is going to make a whole segment of the year where people aren't going to want to release things, meaning they're either going to push it forward or hopefully they're going to push it back. I do not want games, and this is what I saw a tweet about this, saying that y'all better be happy GTA 5 is releasing in 2025 because we're actually going to get summer games this year. I'm like, well, I don't know if that's necessarily the case, because basically what that tweet meant is because GTA is going to release in fall, studios are going to want to get their game out in summer beforehand. While business-wise, yeah, that makes sense, I don't like that for the product-wise. I don't want a studio to rush a game or just put out a game when they could have more time to polish it up, make it better, just because GTA is going to release. I personally would rather them push it back rather than try and push it forward. That just sounds like a recipe for disaster, in my opinion, especially since there are so many games that are supposed to come out this year, and I do not want a big jumbled mess because of GTA. So we'll see how all that plays out. But what I will say is, if everything releases this year that's supposed to, it could easily still be one of the best years in gaming ever. So we'll just kind of have to see how all that plays out. But no doubt, it's been one of the best definitely one of the best Februarys, if not like the best February ever. And even going into March, I mean, Split Fiction was huge. We're getting Assassin's Creed next week. We got WWE. We got Adam Fall to still come. We got First Berserker Kazan to come. We got Xenoblade Chronicles X coming out in March as well. So another great another great month for video games. Nowhere near February's like relentlessness, but still a very good month overall. And then April kicks it right back into high gear. With South of Midnight kicking us off, and then Expedition 33 in the second half, and who knows what else in between. So yeah, we got a lot of great stuff. But let's go ahead and let's talk about the games that came out recently. The big two games that everybody wants to talk about in terms of a review, and that is Monster Hunter Wilds and Split Fiction. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and start with the one that came out first, and that is Monster Hunter Wilds. So Monster Hunter Wilds, man, it is the newest mainline entry in the Monster Hunter franchise. It is basically the follow-up, the true follow-up to Monster Hunter Worlds, which is the biggest and most successful Monster Hunter in the franchise. There was Monster Hunter Rise, but that wasn't a follow-up to World. That was like kind of its own thing. It was a Nintendo Switch exclusive, and it came to other platforms later on. But Monster Hunter Wilds is the true like sequel to Monster Hunter Worlds. And to me, I think it absolutely delivered on every. Actually, I don't even think it delivered. It exceeded all my expectations, because for a while, I mean, for a long time, ever since World and Rise, I've always said I liked Monster Hunter. It's fun. I can enjoy it when it comes out, but it's not something I'm going to be playing a lot. It's not something I'm ever looking forward to. It's not something that really excites me. It's just a fun time. You know, it's just a good game at the end of the day. Monster Hunter Wilds really changed that for me. I just found myself super addicted to it. To the point where like I dang near almost pulled like 2 all-nighters in a row. That's how like just so into it I was, and how much I was loving it. And I think, and I kind of said this in my review, if you haven't watched the review, if you want a more in-depth look at it, make sure you go watch that. But I said in my review, the big thing on why I think I love Wilds more than the others is they just completely upped production on Wilds, to the point where, you know, it feels like that AAA experience, right? You're getting cutscenes that are so cool, that go way harder than they probably have to. You're getting some really, really good animations. You're getting great music throughout. You're getting so many things. I think the thing that really separates Wilds is it just feels more like an experience rather than just a game in which you grind in, right? And I think that was always my biggest issue with Monster Hunter is, well, yes, it's fun. Worlds and Rise, you don't get anywhere without grinding. And I mean grinding, right? And the problem with those is the story is so basically non-existent in those games that it just feels like a complete grind. It is just a grind. And there are people who love that stuff, and that's why Monster Hunter became so big. But for me, you know, one of the things I love about video games, it's what makes like a 10 out of 10 video game for me, right? Is, did I have the experience that I want to have? Because at the end of the day, a video game is going to create experience. Whether it has a story or not, it can still create an experience if it's multiplayer, if it's co-op, right? And to me, Wilds definitely brought that experience more than the other Monster Hunter games. There was a bigger focus on story, while what I will say is the story was still pretty weak in my opinion. There actually was a story, and I actually somewhat know what it was about, and I actually remember characters. So in my opinion, that's a win for Monster Hunter, but it's not really a win for the game, because I don't think it really added much to the game. I was really like, there were moments I was like, I kind of see where they're going. I just don't feel like the execution paid off in the long run. There was like one part in the game, without spoiling it, where one of the characters was just had a lot of emotions towards a certain monster. And he was basically like trying to plead and stuff for like a monster's feelings and stuff. And I was like, okay, I see what they're going for here. But they just didn't build that up enough, and they definitely did not give it enough time to breathe once we reached that spot where I was like, okay, I see what's going on here. It kind of just went right back to the grind, and then they kind of touched on it later, and it's just stuff like that. So overall, I think the story is a big improvement, but it's still kind of weak in my opinion. But we're talking about Monster Hunter here, and the best thing about this game is 100% it's combat. It's combat, or more importantly, I'm gonna just say it's gameplay, and just how great the design and the structure of this game's progression and grind is, right? Even though I said, the other games are a grind, it is still what makes Monster Hunter, and I do enjoy that to a certain degree. I just don't like when that is the only thing I'm going there for, right? I'm not just going to boot up a game because I need to grind. Sometimes, and I think that's a big thing with some games is, are you booting it because are you booting it up because you have to grind, or are you booting it up because you want to grind, right? If I look at Marvel Rivals, right, I want to grind that game because I love the feeling of getting better at the game. I love the battle pass. I love, leveling up in that game. It feels good. In Monster Hunter Wilds, it's the same thing. I want to grind because I get the armor I want. I get the weapons I want. I get to fight the monsters I want. Whereas there are some games, it's kind of like a grind just because you have to finish the game. And it's like, I don't really want to do this, but I kind of have to because I have to beat the game. You know what I mean? So, I think that's going to vary for some people. There might be some people who feel that way about Monster Hunter Wilds. It's like, well, I have to beat the game, but I can't beat this monster. So I kind of just have to go grind for it, even though I don't really want to. To me, I didn't feel that way. I just voluntarily chose to just kept grinding instead of doing a main mission. Not because I couldn't beat the monster, just because I just felt like going back and getting some armor that I really wanted and getting some weapons. And to me, that's what helps the experience is, does it do things that I want to do? Does it enable me to feel the way that I want to feel when playing this game? And to me, it absolutely does. And I absolutely loved every second of it. And so if you didn't watch my review, I gave it a 9 out of 10, and I put it on the A tier, I do believe, which means it's an amazing game. If we look at the Johnny Murr grading scale when it comes to video games, it is 0 through 10 with 0.5s. 10 being masterpiece, 9.5 being phenomenal, 9 out of 10 being amazing, and then 8.5 being really great, 8 being great. And this is something I said in the Split Fiction review, which we're going to touch on right after this, is sometimes it's less about what number or what rating does the game fit into, and sometimes it's more about what rating does the game not fit into, right? And I think this goes for Split Fiction and Monster Hunter Wilds. I think there is an argument for an 8.5. There is an argument for an 8 out of 10. There's an argument for 9.5. And dang near, there could be an argument for 10 out of 10 with both of these games, Split Fiction and Monster Hunter Wilds. So you have to look at all the ratings and be, okay, how do I feel about it? Not first and foremost, because that's the most important thing, right? Your personal enjoyment, your personal take on the game is the most important thing no matter what. Somebody's not going to walk up to me and be like, yo, what's your opinion on Monster Hunter? They don't want me to act like a critic and break down the game frame by frame, all the different aspects like a programmer, and tell them exactly what the quality is on every aspect. They're going to ask, hey, do you like Monster Hunter Wilds? And I'll be like, yeah, I loved it. I had a bunch of fun on it. I wasn't the biggest fan of the story. That's it. That's what they want to hear at the end of the day, right? They don't want somebody's not going to come up to me and be like, yo, what do you think the mass audience is going to think of Monster Hunter Wilds? I'll be like, well, Metacritic has it at a 991, or no, it's not even at a 91. That's Split Fiction. Metacritic has like at a 990, so you'll probably think it's around there. No, they want to know what I think of the game. Like, if they want to know what other people think of the game, just go on Twitter, go on Metacritic, go on OpenCritic, go on whatever you think. To me, I'm going to tell them how I feel. Yo, to me, low-key, it's like a 9 out of 10 game. I absolutely thought it was amazing. I had so much fun with it. There were certain aspects I didn't love, but overall, I have, like, very little complaints. And then also, that's another point I want to bring up, is just because you give something a 9 out of 10 or a 9.5 or an 8 out of 10, just because something isn't a 10 out of 10 doesn't mean there has to be an issue with it, right? Sometimes things are just 9 out of 10 good. A game could have no flaws. It could run perfectly. It could be perfectly paced. It could be super fun gameplay. It could have good music. It could have great visuals. It could have great characters, a great story. And it could still be an 8 out of 10 just because of all those aspects that are in there. I don't think you understand. For a game to be 10 out of 10, you have to exceed. You have to thrive. You have to impress. You have to push every aspect about the game forward for it to be a 10 out of 10. Therefore, if everything about your game is just great, that's fine. It can be an 8 out of 10. It could be a 9 out of 10 because all the things are there. It is very rare when a game does something and you're like, wow, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Whereas there are some games you just play and be like, wow, I have so much fun and I love this, right? And that's completely fine. Like, to me, and this kind of goes to my like Split Fiction review, is like I had to switch the structure of my reviews. In most of my reviews, I do the good, I do the mixed, and I do the bad, right? But for Split Fiction, I kind of had to switch the formula because there was dang near nothing bad or mixed about the game. For me, I wasn't in love with the story and the writing. I was kind of, it's fine. But there's like nothing wrong with the game. That doesn't mean it's a 10 out of 10 to me. I still gave it a 9 out of 10. That's what I said in my review. And that's completely okay. I don't have to find an issue with something. Same thing with Monster Hunter Wilds. The only issue I think the game has is just the issue that every Monster Hunter has had, and that is I think the story is weak. For some people, the story might be the most important part of the game, and it might be a 7 out of 10 game for them because the story is not what it should be compared to other things, right? But for me, my personal enjoyment on how I enjoyed Monster Hunter Wilds, I had a 9 out of 10 time. And honestly, outside of the story, I have absolutely no issues with the game. And I think that's something we need to take into consideration more when playing games and when reviewing things and when talking about things is a score does not determine how many flaws a game has. A score does not determine how bad a game is. It doesn't determine what the aspects and the quality of all these things are about a game. Sometimes it determines just how good the game is, right? Just because it got a lower score doesn't mean it's worse. It just means the other thing is better. So many times we focus on what's the negative sides of these things. What are the things that drag these down? When we should be focused on, hey, what drags this game up? What brings this game up? What makes this a better game? Focusing on the negatives is important. Criticizing things, giving critiques, giving suggestions, very important. But it's a two-sided street. You can say, hey, I don't like the gameplay in this game. All right, if I'm the developer, okay, thank you for your criticism. What do you suggest? If you don't say anything positive, if you don't have a positive, how are they supposed to change? Right? If I go up to a developer and be like, yo, your gameplay sucks, and that's it, what insight do they get out of that? They're like, okay, we're going to change the gameplay. What if they change the gameplay to something else that sucks? When you could say, hey, the gameplay sucks. I think you should do this or this or this. The thing here, this works really, really well. Maybe you should try this. Awesome. Maybe it can improve the gameplay. If you just say it sucks, they'll just change it to something else and it might suck as well. Pointing out positives is just as important as pointing out negatives. Sometimes it's really hard to point out negatives. Sometimes it's really hard to point out positives. It's very easy to just do a review and be like, oh yeah, I like the story. I like the gameplay. I like the music. Yeah, the music sounded nice. Yeah, oh no, it's beautiful. I had a great photo mode time. You know what I mean? Okay. Awesome. I can name you 50,000 other games I had that feeling with. You know what I mean? It's why did you love Split Fiction? What were those aspects that made you say it's a 10 out of 10? What were those aspects that made you say it was a 9 out of 10? That's how you should be looking at reviews. Not just, oh, hey, how does it compare to all the other games? Oh, hey, how does it stack up in the year? No. What was your experience with that game? That's what I want to know. What did you think about that game? I don't care about any other game. If somebody came up to me and was like, yo, what do you think of Monster Hunter Wilds? I'm not going to tell them what I thought of Final Fantasy VII. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. If somebody asked me, yo, what do you think of Pirate Yakuza? I think it's okay to relate things and compare things to things that are very similar or in the same conversation. Like, right? If I went, yo, honestly, I think Pirate Yakuza was a little bit worse than Ninja Gaiden. Or, no, not Ninja Gaiden, my bad. Like a Dragon Gaiden. Fair comparison. Those two are very similar. We're basically talking about the same thing in a way. But if somebody came up to me and was like, yo, what do you think of Ninja Gaiden 2 Black? And I immediately go up the fact, Bayonetta and Devil May Cry were better. That doesn't really answer that guy's question. He could care less about Bayonetta. He could care less about Devil May Cry. We just gave him information that means absolutely nothing. When I could just say, honestly, it's a pretty good action game. I had some fun with it. I'm not really a fan of the story. I'm not really a fan of the controls sometimes. But if you want a fun little action game, there you go. It has this nice little flair to it. Has that Ninja Gaiden flair to it. Fire. Awesome. That answered his question. Right? Hey, are you excited about that game? No, but this other game. Oh, okay. Hey, are you excited about this game? No. Why not? Interesting. You see what I'm saying? So, I think when going into reviews, when looking at things, don't get caught up in the bigger picture of things. Don't start putting your mind out there like going left and right, forward, back, down, up, wherever you want to go with it. Sometimes just live in the moment. Answer the question. Yo, what did you think of Monster Hunter Wilds? Let's genuinely have a conversation about that. I would love to. I played the game. I dang near spent 30. I've spent more. I've spent like 40 hours in the game. If I can't have a genuine discussion about that game after putting 40 hours into it, what am I doing? If you put 20 hours into a game and you can barely have longer than a 5-minute conversation about a game, what's the point in putting 20 hours into something? Just watch a YouTube video at that point. You know what I mean? So, it's interesting. But overall, Monster Hunter Wilds, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I'm very excited to see what Monster Hunter does. What next? I'm excited for expansions if they decide to do them, which they will. I don't even know why I said if they decide to. It's when they do them. I think our first update is I think it's in May, or it might even be March. I don't know, but I know I have the picture in my head of the first monster that they're adding to the game post launch. So, yeah, but I'm excited for anything that they add because I definitely want to go back and I still want to play more. Like I'm excited to go back with some friends and play more if the opportunity arises. But absolutely loved it. So if you guys want my score, I did give it a 9 out of 10, and it is on the A tier, which means it's amazing. So there you go. Now we're gonna move to Split Fiction, and so this game beat not too long ago, like. When I beat it, like 2 days, 3 days ago, 2 days ago. I don't know. Wait, hold on. No, it was longer than that. March 8th. So yeah, about like 4 days ago, I beat it. Amazing. Absolutely amazing game. Hazelight, this game is from the studio that made It Takes Two, which won game of the year at the Game Awards. In 2021. And it's from the studio that also made A Way Out and A Brother's Two Tales. A Way Out is such an awesome, like, I really love A Way Out. I played it with my cousin, like, a long time ago, and I just remember we were both just, like, because we had no idea what we were going into. I didn't even know the idea of, oh, this is Hazelight. No, I just saw it on Game Pass and was like, yo, do you want to play a co-op game? And he was like, yeah, what's this A Way Out game? I was like, I don't know. And he was like, let's play it. I'm like, okay, fine. So we played it, and it was just like, it was awesome. It was just incredible. But Split Fiction, man, Hazelight, they just delivered again. They just they just delivered again. The gameplay is revolutionary. The gameplay is innovative. It is creative. It gives you that excitement of, hey, what's next? What are we gonna do next? What can they do next? That is a question you ask a lot in this game. Is what can they do next? And the crazy thing about it is they always surprise you no matter what. This game, technically, on a technical level, is unbelievable. Like, it is shocking at times what they are able to do technically with this game. Whether it is its visuals, whether it is its set pieces, whether it is how the game operates. There is moments in the finale where you're like, how do they even do this? I want to know what the programming and the coding and the 3D modeling even looks like in a thing like this. Like, how do they piece this together to make a working game? And they just continue to surprise you until the very last minute of the game, And something else I love about this game is they don't shy from just completely throwing curveballs wherever the time feels fit, right? There are so many side things in this game. They're called side stories, which are basically side missions, which just take a completely new concept. And there are so many creative and just mind-bending things in this game that it's just so fun from start to finish. It is exciting. It is heartwarming. And that is just a feeling I felt throughout the whole game is, man, this is so fun. I want to keep playing. I want to see what's next. And I think that just goes to show you Hazelight, because the crazy thing is they did a game just like this 4 years ago, and it won Game of the Year. Now, I'm not saying Split Fiction and It Takes Two are neck for neck the same thing, because they're not. They're very different. But it is the same format. It is the same style. Hey, let's do split screen. We're just going to do these long chapters, introduce a new game mechanic in each chapter. Each of you get a different game mechanic, and you can run through the whole chapter with that. But throughout that chapter, we're going to sprinkle in some little fun other things. We're going to make you go 2D here. We're going to make you go 3D. We're going to make you fly a dragon thing. We're going to make you go into this like Pac-Man simulated like type thing, right? Very similar in that structure. It's just the concepts of what the game and the story and whatever kind of world you're in are completely different, right? But what the point I'm getting at is the fact that they did a game pretty much just like this 4 years ago and it won Game of the Year, and they are somehow able to do it again. And I almost guarantee you it's going to be nominated for Game of the Year. We'll have to see. Is insane. Yeah, you're funny, buddy. You got me so scared for a hot second. You got me so scared. For everybody wondering, Jordan just typed muted in the chat, which made me think I was muted for a hot second. Oh boy, I would have been so mad. But hey, funny guy. But yeah, Split Fiction was an absolute blast. Had fun from start to finish. I gave it a 9 out of 10. It's an amazing game. Really, like it really is. I personally was not a big fan of the writing or the story. And to me, I think it just because I just didn't really fall in love with the characters. Also pretty laggy. Is it really? Man, don't be scaring me like this. Even if it is, I'm recording, so I'll just upload it, or it'll be on Spotify afterwards. But yeah, to me, it just didn't deliver on the narrative front of what I wanted, especially because I loved the concept. I loved the concept of taking two authors who don't like each other. One writes fantasy, one likes sci-fi. And they get stuck inside their own brains, and they kind of have to work together to figure it out. And so I really loved the concept. that they were going for. And while they did execute it good and fine in Split Fiction, it just didn't reach the heights or the level I wanted them to. And more or less just because I felt like they could have done so much more. I think I was expecting better than it actually was. And I don't like the argument of, okay, well then that just means you went in with bad expectations. I don't like that argument to a certain degree. In some cases, yes, expectations are a big thing. But I think in some ways, it's like, okay, so you just want me to not have a standard then? Because there are standards to this thing. You know what I mean? And I'm not just talking about Split Fiction as a whole. I'm talking about just games, music, movies. It's okay to have standards. If it doesn't meet the standard, I can't help it. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, this horror game is not as scary as this one. Okay, that doesn't mean it's bad, but that doesn't mean it's as good as the other one. Like, I mean, that's just how it is, right? And so for me, again, comparing Split Fiction to God of War, completely unnecessary. What I'm going to compare it to is their last game, It Takes Two. And to me, I felt way more emotionally connected to the characters in It Takes Two. And therefore, it just didn't reach the heights of what I thought it was going to or what Hazelight is capable of, because they've made amazing characters in the past. And while Zoe and whatever her name, Mio, are not bad characters by any means, they're likable. They have their moments. I've laughed at a few of their jokes. I just didn't love them as much as the other characters from A Way Out or It Takes Two. Leo and Vincent from A Way Out, and Cody and May from It Takes Two. And so that was really my only like thing that I could even say. It's not even bad. Like, I would just say that's like, if I had to put it, I would put it in the mixed category. It didn't really do anything for me, but it didn't like lower my like experience of the game either. But I think from a gameplay perspective, from a visual technical perspective, the game is just incredible. Like, it just continues to shock you. It continues to deliver on the fun, excitement. And it continues to push this genre forward, in which Hazelight literally has on lock. There is no studio that does the co-op thing better than Hazelight. They just have it down to a T. And it's so fun to see. There are so many moments where you're like, yo, what am I doing right now? And then there are so many moments you're like, how is this even possible? And it's so fun, and it just ends up adding up to a really fun experience that you can have with a friend, whoever you decide to play it with. And yeah, I'm just super duper looking forward to see what Hazelight does next, because they did tease that they want to do something different. So and I think they said they want to do something single player. And so I don't know what that entails. I don't even know like what kind of single player thing it would be. I guess we'll just kind of have to see. Oh Jesus. I guess for me, it's hard to dock a point for story because it felt the least focused on story. A Way Out was the most story focused, so I would for sure judge a point for story. I get that. I guess for me, it's hard to dock a point for story because it felt the least focus on story. I get that. But if a game has a story trailer and there is a concept for story that sounds really good, and that is a part of a game that you're excited for, and at the end of the game you feel like it's the least focused on, that probably means it didn't execute in the way it should have. Or it could have been. But it is a story-driven game. But it is. The game has a narrative. It has a story. But I get that, though. Like, if that's just not something that would play into your score for a game, fair enough. You know what I mean? I think again, it just depends on what you want from it. Yeah, that's really all I gotta say about that. I had this debate with a friend. It's hard to debate docking points for a game that are not story driven. Some of the biggest / best games have average stories, but are just perfect in what they aim for. Yeah. Yep. I agree. It is hard docking points, but I don't know. To me, a story-driven game is where the story is mainly focused on. DS2 is a true story-driven game. Yeah. I mean, again, it just comes down to perspective. To me, It Takes Two and A Way Out had a much better story than Split Fiction, and that's just how I feel. And if a developer or studio puts out story trailer, they have interviews talking about the story on why, like, what their inspirations for the characters are on, what their inspiration for the story is. It's still an aspect about a game you have to take into consideration. And again, that just may not be important to some people, and that's completely fair. But I don't know. That just goes into whatever you want out of a game, whatever your perspective for the game is. For everybody wondering, like, if you're watching this like as an audio listener or whatnot, this is awesome. Having a conversation with in the chat. You could have given the game a 7, so it's cool. 9 is a great score. I don't even know what to make of that. But yeah, no, it's absolutely amazing game. It deserves all the success it's having. I mean, I think I saw it sold like 1 million copies within its first 48 hours, I think it was. So big W there. Had a lot of fun with it. I forget what Monster Hunter Wilds number were, because that game is also having success. I mean, that game is. I mean, we kind of knew that game was gonna be insanely high. Let's see what's the. I think it was 8 million. I think it was 8 million. 8 million in a week. Yeah. So yeah. We will have to see what Hazelight does next. We will have to see what Monster Hunter does next. I mean, Monster Hunter is just going to add expansions. I know that for a fact. And that'll be really interesting. Yo, Jordan in chat said we only got 5 copies at the store, but they all sold out. Split Fiction. Fire. That's awesome. You love to see that. You love to see it. I'll tell you what. There was for Monster Hunters, completely like went off track there. But for Monster Hunter, I had friends playing that I didn't even know like were even like interested or excited for it. Like the game came out and I got like 3 text messages from like different people that I very rarely play like video games with, and they were like, "Yo, you trying to play Monster Hunter Wilds?" I'm like, "Oh, okay. I didn't even know you were into that. Like, okay, I see how it is." But I don't know. It was just fun. It just kind of like threw me back. I was like, wow, okay, so this game is really being played, huh? Jordan says I've been playing another game too. ... Wow, I wonder which one that is, Jordan. Surely it doesn't start with a K and ends with a 2, right? Surely not. No, that's awesome though. Yeah, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is still having success, and you'll love to see it. It doesn't. Wait. It doesn't what? Oh, it doesn't start with a K and ends with a 2. Okay, interesting. I'm 100 hours into that, but I've been on something else too. What? Did you get a review code for Assassin's Creed? Imagine. He's just like, yeah, bro, I've been playing Assassin's Creed Shadows earlier than all of you. What does it start with? Hang on. Tell me the letter it starts with, and like if it has a number at the end. Tell me that. No number D. I was gonna say Death Stranding, bruh. I was gonna say Death Stranding as a joke, but now I might actually be tempted to say Death Stranding. Are you playing Death Stranding right now? Wait, hang on. Let me think of other options real quick. Hang on. Because dude, there's a lot of people playing Death Stranding one right now. That game's having like a resurgence because of Death Stranding 2. I'm trying to think what other games would start with a D. Dragon's Dogma popped right in my head. I don't think that's it. Is it a newer game, or is it like? Is it within the last like year? You plan to play Death Stranding before DS2 if it can, but no, that's not it. Is it Dragon's Dogma 2? It is? Yep. There you go. Fire. Did you ever finish that, or are you just like replaying it, or? No, it's not DD2. Oh, okay. It's not Dragon's Dogma 2. Hold up. Oh, it's a newer game. Dragon Age? No way, bro. Are you playing Dragon Age? Pause. Hold up. Put everything on full stop. Yo, are you playing Dragon Age right now? Hold up. Are you playing Dragon Age? Are you doing it? I'm about to be so happy. Dude, I'm about to cry if you're playing Dragon. Oh my gosh. Are you playing Dragon Age? Oh my gosh! Yes! We won! I won. Oh my gosh. Yes! Oh, bruh. Oh, that made me so happy. Oh my gosh. Holy crap. Oh, shut up, dog. Actually, no. Dogs, make all the sound you want, dogs. I don't care, bro. We're celebrating tonight. I need to pop up in a cold one. Hold up. Oh, greatness. Greatness. Look, even my Dragon's Dogma case was so excited it fell over. Dragon's Dogma... Kill me now. Dragon Age. Fire, bro. Mage and human. That's dope. That's dope. Mage is actually the only class I didn't play a full playthrough with. I played a Rogue and Warrior all the way through. So I'm curious what you think of Mage whenever you play through it. Fire, dude. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. I love you, Jordan. I love you so much. The way you did it too. You're trying to make it guess, knowing dang well I'd be super excited when you did that. Smart man. That's awesome. Bro, Ben keeps sending me like he's an idiot. That's awesome. All right, but no, let's so yeah, all right, but back gosh. I was gonna wait until I beat it to tell you. Oh, you tell me we're actually able to do a spoiler talk at some point? Oh shoot! Oh my gosh, dude, I've been waiting years. It felt like years to like talk about the ending with somebody because I'm so curious the differences. Because I'll tell you right now, our endings are gonna be completely different. Oh wow, that's awesome. That's hilarious. That's hilarious, man. All right, but anyway, so yeah. Reviews for recent games: Monster Hunter Wilds, 9 out of 10, A tier. Split Fiction, 9 out of 10, A tier. Both amazing games. And yeah, that was like something that I thought of like whenever doing the both of those reviews is, and that's honestly like such a great way to look at reviews is, like, okay, not only why am I giving it a 9 out of 10, but then like also why am I not giving it an 8.5 or why am I not giving it a 10 out of 10? And that's just been a really helpful way of looking at it. And I think that like, cause I think that really helped me for Monster Hunter. It helped me a little bit for Split Fiction because I was gonna give Split Fiction an 8.5, but then that thing crossed my mind. I was like, well, why would it not fit 8.5? And I was like, because technically it's on another level, and it is just so much fun. It's probably some of the most fun you'll have all year. And then, but for Monster Hunter, I think it helped me more because I was debating between a 9.5 and an 8, right? Two very different numbers. But to me, I ended up being like, okay, it's not an 8 because of this or that, right? And I was like, and I don't think it could be a 9.5 because of this or this or this. And so I ended up settling on the 9. And so, and it was just a really interesting way to look at it. We have 6 viewers right now, everybody. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We're just talking games. We're having fun. Yeah. So, both absolutely great games. My dad actually last night asked me because I was telling him because my Death Stranding 2 reaction video on the channel is it's probably at 5,000 views now. Let me see. Yeah, it's at 5K views now, which is awesome. Thank y'all so much for all the support. I love y'all. And we're at 820 subscribers now. 819 subscribers now. But my dad asked me like, what videos can you do next to like, you know, to follow that up or whatnot. And he asked me, he was like, do you do like a top 5 games of 2025 like so far type thing? And I was like, I've never thought about doing that, and I don't think I will because there's not enough games to even do a top 5. Maybe like a top 3 or whatnot. And so it was kind of interesting. But then he asked, he was like, "What are your top 3 games of the year so far?" And I was like, I don't even know. Bro, we're getting banger after banger after banger. Like, I don't even know. I know what 3 are in my top 3. I don't know what order they're in. It's Avowed, Monster Hunter, and Split Fiction. I just don't know. I don't know what order they're in. Honestly, nor do I really care. I loved all 3 of them. I honestly probably, and look, this is just how games and things work. The more time you spend with something, the more your opinion will change on something. I actually probably would bump my Avowed review up like 0.5. I gave it an 8 out of 10. I would give it an 8.5 out of 10. Because the more I've like sat on it and the more I've like thought about it, I'm like, I actually like want to go replay that because I actually like I really love that game. And so I don't know, just like a thought, but super interesting. Let's go ahead and let's talk about Death Stranding 2. We got to. I mean, it's the biggest thing in the industry right now. Is that dang Death Stranding 2 trailer that quite literally put this game on another in its own atmosphere. There is more talk about this game than I ever thought there would be. I think that number one goes to show you how much a trailer can do for something. But number two, why actually showing your game can do so much for that game. We saw so much of the environments, of the gameplay, of the story, of the characters, to the point where there's so much to talk about now. There is people out the womb talking about this game, right? Like, my parents talk about this game on a daily basis. Like, my dad just asked me today, what do you think is the deal with that guy with the bandana? I'm like, oh, what did you like to know? and I showed him the trailer like 2 days ago. So it's like, this game, the trailer is, it's just different. Like, it's different. But what I will say is, I am beyond excited for this game now. Like, beyond excited. Like, it has reached among my most anticipated games, for sure. And not even the fact of, like, I'm so excited to get in there and shoot people, and I'm so excited to, like, take a look at the visuals for the first time. It's not even the excitement of, like, I just want my hands on the game right now. It's more or less the excitement of, I'm, like, so confident I'm going to fall in love with the game that I just want to have that feeling already. You know? Like, you ever get that with, like, a game? It's like, okay, I know what I'm getting out of the gameplay. I know what I'm getting out of the visuals. The story's probably going to be great. I just know I'm going to love the game. I'm just so excited for it. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how I feel about it. Granted, when it comes to the gameplay, when it comes to the visuals, and when it comes to story, I did not expect to be that impressed by what this game is looking to offer. Visually, this may be your Kai moment with the game, 100 hours in photo mode. Definitely not. I'm not a photo mode guy, I'll be honest with you. I get where you're coming from, because what I was about to say is, visually, this might be the best looking game out there right now. The Decima engine, I don't even... That first shot in the trailer, where you see Norman Reedus' character, like, kid. I almost read that out loud. I'm so glad I did not. That first shot where Norman Reedus is, like, with the baby, and he stands up and looks over the, like, cliff with, like, hills and mountains in the vistas. That moment is literally a holy crap, I'm never gonna forget this moment, like, type moment, because visuals like that is one of the greatest views I've ever seen in a game. Like, it was immaculate. We need to have more collabs with game studios. So many cool things are happening because of it, dude. That's a fact. Yeah, Guerrilla with Kojima. I laugh because it sounds like a joke. And it's not. It's reality. And it's just like, oh my gosh. But yeah, we're gonna talk about this trailer, because I honestly I've been theory crafting. I've been listening to kind of Funny's podcast and everything talk about it, and they were doing, like, some theory crafting and just breaking down the trailer and stuff, and it's just got me more and more excited. But this trailer was special. Like, obviously it's not like my most anticipated game out of everything, because I'm living in a world where Ghost and the follow-up to Returnal are a thing, so just by default that ain't gonna happen. But I don't know if a trailer has ever... I'm trying to find the words here. I don't know if a trailer has ever fully convinced me this game is going to be phenomenal, at the very least, right? I know on Twitter, I kind of went off going like, yo, this game is going to be a masterpiece. This game is going to be peak. Like, this game is going to win game of the year. And to be honest, I still kind of think that. Like, out of everything I've seen in the year so far, that is my front runner fun prediction to it. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. There's so many things that could be taken into account. Like, the fact that Black Myth Wukong last year scored an 81, and it was still nominated for game of the year. It's like, there's so many things that can go into account. And we still have an insane year ahead of us. There's so many games coming out. But off of pure artistry and the things that I have seen when it comes to the aspects of a game, that is my frontrunner. Like, I don't know if I've ever been so, like, completely transformed with my opinion of a game like this trailer did. Like, because I went from excited for the game, from somebody who's played Death Stranding 1, from somebody who, you know, I think Kojima is the GOAT of video game directors, like, ever. And I went from excited for it, you know, if y'all were on the last podcast, I brought up my Topsters list. Here, I'll show y'all real quick. Yeah, so, like, here's my Topsters list, and the way I do it is I have tiers, right? So, like, this top tier are, like, my most anticipated games, right? They're not really in any order except, like, the top ones, like, I guess, like, obviously these are my top 3, but, like, the rest of them you could really, like, shuffle around in any way you want, and I would say that's accurate, right? But overall, these are, like, my most anticipated games. Death Stranding was down here. Like, it was down here for a hot minute. And this trailer completely shifted what I think that this game is going to do. Because that music mixed with the insane visuals, mixed with the performances of the character. To be honest, I think if this game does end up winning game of the year, we'll see how it all plays out. But if this game does win Game of the Year, I think a huge majority of that is going to be because of the performances in this game. The actors and actresses they have on this game is quite honestly something we've never seen in a game before. There is literally a whole 30-second segment in that trailer where it is just flashing names of actors and characters. It's quite insane what this trailer was able to do. And then not only that, but it looks to be upgrading and doing better on the things that the first game failed at. They're making the whole delivery concept where, you know, the whole game is basically you're a delivery guy. And you have to walk and explore and deliver the packages with an environment that is very harsh and dangerous. They are lowering that. So, like, it's basically, in the trailer, they're literally saying deliveries have been automated now. So there's probably going to be a lot of AI. There's probably going to be a lot of things that help make that whole system easier, as well as you're probably not going to do a large focus of the game being a delivery guy. That's not going to be the whole concept of the game anymore, because number one, the character who is the delivery guy has completely ascended to a whole nother character. Like, he's no longer just a delivery guy. So him still just living out his normal delivery days is not going to be the case anymore, right? But then also, this game does seem to be, you know, putting a bigger emphasis on action, which is a big part of why the game is divisive, because there are people who need action to be entertained. And I feel that. I get that. That makes complete sense. But then there are people who like just that slow pace, they're just there for the ride. They don't need anything specific. They just want to experience it, who absolutely love the game. And so it looks like they are putting a little bit more emphasis on action, and making it a little bit more fast-paced. I mean, even like Norman Reedus, the main actor, and Kojima said that, there is a bigger emphasis on violence in this game, which that sounds awesome. I'm just so excited to see what this game does fundamentally differently, right? I think it's super easy to say, okay, how is this game's gameplay going to be different? And you can be like, oh yeah, they're going to add new guns. They're going to add new traversal. They're going to add all that. It's still going to feel the same. That's not going to change, right? It's still going to be the same camera angles. It's still going to be the same controls. It's still going to be the same maybe progression could change. But that's what I'm saying. I'm curious how this game is going to fundamentally change. Because according to Kojima and the whole crew working on this game is a complete evolution of the first game. This game is 100 times bigger and better than the first game. And that excites me. And I don't think you can do that by just adding more guns, making the visuals look prettier, getting more actors in it. I think you have to fundamentally change and create a different perception of what Death Stranding is to the larger audience. And I think this trailer did that, because it went from, you play as this guy who was in the Walking Dead TV show, you have a baby, and you're walking around this environment with a bunch of things that you have no idea what's going on for. And now it's turned into, hey, there's a whole bunch of characters. You are traversing continents. You are fighting against corporate organizations. You have this guy who is straight up a Solid Snake ripoff. And I don't care because it looks sick. Right? I think that this trailer completely changed the perspective of what Death Stranding 2 can be. Because I think also, whether we like to say it or not, shout out to the indie market, shout out to the AA market, shout out to all the other markets that aren't in this market. What appeals to the mass audiences is those blockbuster AAA games that feel like movies. And this trailer was that to a T. It was like watching a movie trailer. And Kojima has been known to be that very artistic, do things completely in his own way, change the script, change the formula. And it's felt niche to a lot of people. But now, and even in the comments, and by the way, I'm not just coming out with this in my head. I'm going off of what I've heard from the general audience. And I know it's a general audience because of my video, because of my reaction that I did for this trailer. I got so many comments. I think there's like 50, 60 comments on the video. And I've seen so many different takes. But one take that I've seen over and over again is, yo, I played the first game, but I have to play this game. Or it's, yo, this game looks like a movie. Gotta check it out. Or, yo, that music hit different. I wonder what other music's in the game. This trailer showed things in the game that even if you're there for one aspect, whether you're only there for visuals, whether you're only there for story, whether you're only there for gameplay, whether you're only there for music, whether you're only there because it's Kojima, this trailer showed something in every aspect about what makes a video game great that appeals to so many people. And I think that is what makes a phenomenal game, is when you have something in every aspect about your game that impresses you. It's insane and that's why you have people everywhere talking about it, because there's something for everybody. It's like eye and ear candy. You hear it, you see it, and you're like, I want to see more of it. I want to hear more of it. And it just so happens we're in a medium where video games are very, very fun. And so if this game is fun and you get to experience all those other things, you're in for a crazy experience. You're in for a crazy experience. Maybe you're only there just to be there. Right. If the game sells 10 million copies and your grandma comes over and is like, yo, did you play the new Death Stranding game? You're going to be like, maybe I need to play this new Death Stranding game. Obviously, that's not going to happen. But, you know what I mean? It's like how indies go viral. It's how games go viral. Somebody plays it, and they're like, yo, this was incredible. And you're going to get FOMO, the fear of missing out. And that's literally what's happening now. People, gamers, people, diehards, the passionate ones who know what Kojima is and knows what he's done, knows his history, knows how legendary he is. People who play everything that comes out. People who only play PlayStation exclusives. People who only play the big AAA blockbusters. They watched that trailer and they were like, yo, this is one of the best trailers I've seen in a hot, long while. All it takes is for one person to hear that and be like, I'll check it out. I may not play games like this or whatnot, or like talk about games like this, but I'll check out the trailer. They watch the trailer and they're like, that was a phenomenal trailer. And that makes somebody else want to watch the trailer. And that makes someone else wants to watch the trailer. And that is why we are now living at a point where everybody is talking about this trailer. Because the trailer was so good and so good enough to make people keep on watching, and it spreads the word. It's so easy to watch the trailer and be like, oh yeah, that looks fun. Okay, March 17th, I'm down. I'm there for it. Done. You move on. But there's this game with a trailer like this that has completely shifted any perspective or opinion about this game out there, because it was just different. It was just different. It did something completely different. Hey, let's not show you how many hours you're going to have in the game. Let's not show you what the pairing looks like. No. Let's show you how beautiful and how artistic and how confident we are in the product that we made. Whether it is the people working on this game, whether it is the performances, whether it is the visuals, whether it is the technology, whether it is the storytelling, whether it is the music, whether it is the gameplay, whether it is the concept, whether it is the execution. There is something in that trailer that will make you go, wow, that looks really good. And that's going to spread. And that's why we are now in this point where this is literally the biggest trailer, like, easily of the year. And so I don't know how well Death Stranding 1 sold. I'll be honest, like, I have no idea how well it sold. But all I know is I feel like this game has a very good chance of like doubling that sale, whatever it was. Because I don't know if I've ever seen this many people talking about Death Stranding. Like, it's actually insane. If my grandma knew about Death Stranding, I would be mortified. I love it, dude. I love it. 5 million copies. I think this game breaks it easily. I think this game breaks that within its first few months. Within its first few months. Especially now. Because, I mean, the like trailer alone has over like 2 million views just on the PlayStation account. 5 million copies. Oh, that's old sales? Okay. As of late 2022, 10 million copies. Dang, yo, let's go Kojima. Okay. Let's see. So if it came out in 2019, late 2019, so about 3 years, 10 million copies. I think it reaches 5 million in its first year. By the end of the year, I think it'll reach 5 million copies. That's my guess. But also, the thing that is just kind of crazy about this whole thing is we're literally talking about Death Stranding 2, which, yes, maybe you haven't played the first one. Maybe you've heard mixed things about the first one. Maybe you're not excited for Death Stranding 2. Maybe you have no idea what it is. But what everybody knows, and even people outside of gaming know, is this is Kojima, the greatest ever do it. This game has ascended video games. This dude is in the movie industry. This dude is in the music industry. This dude meets with celebrities on a hourly basis, bruh. This dude meets a celebrity and is like, hey, do you want to be a part of this project I'm working on? And it happens. It just happens like that. This dude is working on OD with Jordan Peele, one of the best movie directors in the movie industry right now. That doesn't happen in video games. that just doesn't happen. And so it's one thing to release a God of War trailer and be this viral, right? It's one thing to release a Spider-Man trailer and it go this viral. But it's another thing when this very niche IP that was very divisive in its first release is going viral like this. It's just crazy to me that we're even living in a moment where Kojima literally just created like an iconic trailer and it's just completely shifted the landscape of this game. I think this trailer alone gave this game like 2 million more sales. Literally. Like, I would not be surprised if you took a survey of 3 million players that played this game and was like, yo, when was the moment you were like sold on the game? They'll probably be like, honestly, it was that one trailer it was like 10 minutes long. It had that really awesome song behind it. I almost guarantee you that is going to be everybody's like biggest memory of this game is this trailer. Mr. John Hamilton is currently working at the Kojima Productions donut shop. Would you like the glaze heavy? Because that's all we got. Absolutely. I want that extra glaze heavy. And so, I don't know. It'll be super interesting to see. All I know is I want to buy the collector's edition for this thing so bad because I just have such a good feeling I'm going to love this game. But the collector's edition kind of sucks. I'm not going to lie. Like, the more I've thought about it, it's a really disappointing collector's edition. The box itself is just a black box with a white logo. It's kind of whatever. The statue is cool looking. I have no idea what it is. And then it doesn't even come with the physical game itself. It comes with a code. And it's $230, which is on the more expensive side of collector's edition. So to me, it's I don't know, it's a bit of a letdown, but yeah, I don't know. I'll have to figure out what I want to do there because I definitely am getting that early access, but I guess it means I'm just gonna have to buy it digitally, even though I will get this game physically at some point for sure. But I mean, if I end up liking it, but pretty confident I will. But anyway, theory crafting. I would not be surprised if Kojima, this madman. Yeah, no physical game in the collector's edition. Yeah, I know. It's yes for $230. Yes, I know. It's literally absurd. It's like bro. Just add the case. Like how hard is that? What does it cost you to add the case? $60? No, it probably costs you like $2, bro. Just add the case. I can make one myself for $2, bro. Like, what's going on here? Yeah, it's really annoying. Literally, if it had if it literally had the physical game, I'd buy the collector's edition. That is the biggest selling point for me, or it's the biggest breaking point for me, is the fact that you're buying a physical collector's edition without the physical game. What's the point? Like what? Yeah, it's really dumb. Like it doesn't even come with a steelbook. Like what are we doing? I'd rather pre-order the game physically at GameStop and hope GameStop has a steelbook like that just comes free with it. Like I don't know. It's really stupid. But anyway, if Kojima's a madman, the theory going on right now is Kojima announced, I think it was like early last year, that he's partnered up with PlayStation to create a new original IP. And that new IP will be a stealth action espionage game, which, I mean, if any of you are just stupid, sorry, that was a little harsh. If any of y'all just don't know, Kojima's the creator of Metal Gear Solid. Widely known as one of the best video game franchises ever. And let's just say he doesn't make those anymore because Konami and him had a falling out. So the fact that he's making an action espionage game, which just so happens to be the same exact genre as Metal Gear, is very exciting to say the least. There's a theory going on right now that Death Stranding 2 might be introducing us to the main character of what that action espionage game is going to be. And it just so happens that he looks just like Solid Snake. If that is what's going on here, Kojima's a literal madman. He had a falling out with Konami. And what does he do? He's going to recreate. He's going to do it all again. He's literally going to repeat it. He's going to be like, low-key, let's run it back. If that ends up being the case, I don't think that's going to be the case. But it's a good theory. It honestly is. Especially since PlayStation Studios is behind Death Stranding. Like, it's a second-party game to a certain degree. Kojima owns the rights, but PlayStation's helped funding it and publishing it. But especially because they're behind especially since they're behind Death Stranding 2 and they are behind the upcoming new IP action espionage game. I wouldn't be surprised if these two games are somehow going to be connected. In which case, oh brother, I don't even know. Kojima is literally crazy. Not Austin. Jordan sent me a picture. Oh, is that his character in Dragon Age? Yo, that's sick. He looks like, God, who does he look like? Oh, he reminds me of somebody, bro. Who does this? On camera, that looks so funny. Hold up. You'll see that on camera. That's funny. It's Jordan's character. Who does that remind me of, bro? He looks like he'd play like Dracula. He looks like he'd be a Dracula. You know? I like the armor you have on. It's fire. But yeah, super cool. Death Stranding 2, man, what a moment. Literally about broke down in tears. I may have shed a tear. I don't really remember. But, that trailer was getting me in my feels. And look, I've said it multiple times. I like Death Stranding 1. I don't love it. Like, it's not something I like. Up until now, like, it's not something I would have wanted to go back and replay. It's because I do have a lot of things that I don't like necessarily love about the game, like fundamentally. Like, it's the definition of an 8 out of 10 game to me. But this trailer was just so good. Regardless of what I think of the first game or not, this trailer just, it was so hard to just not love what I was seeing. Like, I don't know. It just speaks for itself, really. It just speaks for itself. I love its release date, by the way, June 26th. Because that's what I was talking about earlier. Is 2025? It has on paper on paper, it should be like the greatest year of gaming ever. I have a feeling it won't be because of stupid release dates. More importantly, because of stupid GTA 6. I don't know if all the games are actually going to release this year. We've already had a few delays, and honestly, with how many games still need release dates, I don't know we're going to get those release dates in 2026 or 2025. You would love to see me do a video game trailer tier list. You love trailers more than like a lot of people. I do. Like, I've said this multiple times on multiple podcasts. It's like my love for video games goes so far out of just staring at a screen, clicking buttons, playing a game. It's listening to video game music. It's getting to see the cover art. It's buying collector's editions. It's like doing tier lists. It's talking about it on podcasts, right? It almost becomes a brand at times, right? Death Stranding is now like a brand, right? It's not just a game. Mario, it's not just a game. It's a whole brand. Like, it's a whole experience, whether you're playing the game or not. And sometimes your love can be stronger outside of the game than it is actually playing the game. It's like, okay, I'm playing Death Stranding. For those 10 minutes, I was walking around, climbing ladders. Okay, that's fine. But if I stop playing the game and I listen to the music, I look at my collector's edition, God, I'm loving it. You know what I mean? Like, I love what I'm looking at. I love what I'm hearing. But when I'm playing the game, okay, I'm just doing things. Sometimes there's so much more to a game, to gaming, to video games than just staring at a screen, clicking buttons. And so, yeah, I do love trailers. Trailers are a huge part of it. And so, I mean, the amount of games that I've played because of a trailer, or the amount of games I haven't played because of a trailer, is very, very, very up there. I mean, heck, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, I don't think either of us would have played that game if it wasn't for that dang amazing trailer with that song that they had in it. And it was like, oh, wow, you know what? Actually, I need to play that game. That actually looks amazing. So it's like a trailer just, like, if it does its job, it does its job. You know what I mean? The point of a trailer is to sell the game, and sometimes, believe it or not, it dang near sells that game. So we'll kind of have to see. So yeah, talking about the next thing, Silent Hill. On, what is it, March 13th? Is that right? March 13th. Yes, March 13th at 3 p.m. Pacific time. They are going to be revealing fully. We had a teaser announcement trailer like a few years ago, honestly, of Silent Hill F, but now they will be uncovering Silent Hill F at this transmission. So this is coming off the back of Silent Hill 2 remake releasing last year. Silent Hill has been in development for quite a while. Yeah, another really good horror game. Let's hope so. To be fair, this is the first new mainline Silent Hill game since 2012. So I don't really know what that entails. Because also, that announcement trailer was super weird and super, like, I don't even know what's going on. So we'll have to see. But honestly, I have faith in Konami because even though the very little things that they've been doing in the recent years, they've all been hitting. So I do have faith. I think my bigger question, do we think this is this year or next year? Personally, I think 2026. I find it really weird for a game that was announced years ago to finally get some new information and be like, hey, yeah, it's this year. I think that would be a crazy plot twist. I'm pretty positive it's 2026 as well. Especially because as it currently stands, granted, it's not, GTA 6 isn't releasing this year. Let's be honest, guys. But granted, because GTA 6 is still slated for fall 2025, nobody wants to try to compete with that. So I would doubt Konami would be like, hey, new Silent Hill game, the first time in like over a decade. We're releasing it around the same time. GTA 6 coming out. Now, to be fair, and there is one reason I think this has a shot at coming out this year. There is currently no like scheduled horror games to like come out this year outside of Chronos: The New Dawn, which is that Bloober Team game, but we haven't seen that game in a while, so I don't know if that game is even still slated for this year or not. And so if Konami was like, low-key, we could have the horror game of the year right here. Maybe, but I just don't think the timing feels right of it. It just feels like hey, this is what this game actually is. We're going to spend more time on it next year, maybe early next year. Boom, we got a banger for you. But then also, I don't think Konami is the one to rush things. I mean, just think about Silent Hill 2. That game was announced, and we didn't actually get that game's release until last year, right? Think about Metal Gear Delta. They announced it, and we're just now getting the game, and we still have to wait months for it. So I just don't see them fully revealing this game and be like, hey, in like 6 months, you can play it. I just don't think, bro. Literally, GTA 6 is ruining everything. Because I don't know if you were on the podcast earlier, but I had a whole conversation about that. Where on paper, 2025 should be the best year in gaming. There are so many games that are scheduled for 2025. The problem is, I don't know if a good chunk of those are even going to come out this year. Either because they're going to get pushed back, or they're just going to get delayed in general. And I think GTA 6 is the problem for that, because I saw a tweet saying. It was referencing Death Stranding 2, because no one expected Death Stranding 2 to come out in summer. We all thought that game was still like a little ways away. Now we get to play in 3 months. Unbelievable. But there was a tweet that said, y'all can thank GTA 6 for all the summer games that are going to release this year. Meaning that studios and companies are going to try and release their game sooner than GTA 6. That way they can get ahead of it. But to me, I just think that's a recipe for disaster. I do not want studios to try and rush their game or push it forward just because they're trying to get ahead of GTA 6. I think realistically, companies are just going to push it back. Didn't type it all for the first 45 minutes. Gotcha. But yeah, so we'll see. I just want GTA 6 to get delayed already. Like, just delay it already. And also, I would much rather GTA 6 come out in like January or February, kick off the year, so we don't have this big spot in the middle of a year where there's just going to be like no releases. Because especially in fall, when fall is typically the time of all the releases, everything's just going to be focused on GTA 6 this year. And I think that sounds so boring. It sounds so boring. I would rather, hey, let's just have a jam-packed year of everything that's supposed to come out this year. And you just push it back a few months. Kick off 2026 with a bang. Do it. You know what I mean? So we'll see. But Silent Hill, I'm very curious to see this game. You know, I have no idea what it's going to entail. I literally have no idea. I just hope it looks good. Now we're gonna talk about Xbox. They've had a bit of news. Wow, that is super creepy. Wait. Why is it doing that? Oh, I see. Okay, my bad. Makes 2025 less stacked, but also balances out 2026. Yeah. I mean, I still think no matter what, 2025 will still be one of the best years in gaming. I just think it's really hard as of right now until we get more release dates and see the reviews of more games. I think it's like kind of a hard argument to say like it is going to be the best year in gaming. Which also, to be fair, every time we say that, like, we're just hard glazing and hard like coping in a way. But like, I mean, it's been a great year so far. January was kind of slow. But for the most part, it's been a really great year so far. But yeah, Xbox, man, they've had quite a bit of crazy things going on. So, apparently the handheld console might release this year, which I don't. I just I'm so confused on this whole situation. So apparently now, I've seen so many different posts and so many different reports and everything. But so I looked it up once, and I tried to get a simple explanation of what the heck the thought going on right now is. Apparently, the handheld console will be releasing this year, and the next gen console is scheduled for 2027. So this is different than what everyone thought. Everyone thought they were going to be releasing both in 2026. But now it looks like they're going to be spread apart, and next gen is coming later than expected. So I guess what I need to talk about right now, how do I think that this is going to work? Because if a handheld console comes out this year, I don't know why. Other than everybody just wants a handheld, which I do. I want it very badly. But like, is there a game that they're wanting to release it next to? Maybe Gears? Like, or is there it? I wonder if there's a reason they're doing it 2 years or at least like a year and a half before the next gen console. Yeah, 2027 new Xbox is the only thing I'm sad about. I agree because I think there's so many things in place for next year next gen console. Maybe releasing Perfect Dark with it, Gears with it. Like, next year seems like a really good year for Xbox, and I just figured they would want to push that 27 thing out. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not sad about 2025 handheld console. I'm just confused. Like, how did this come about? You know, because it's completely different than what we've been hearing for a while. Like, it kind of just came out of nowhere. It's like, oh, it's this year. Okay. Maybe it's just they just decide, you know what, we're just gonna do it this year. It's ready. Let's just do it. Like, maybe there is no coinciding thing about it. Maybe it's just they just now is the time to do it. What I could see. But they have so many studios, so it doesn't matter really. Right. I mean, yeah, they can choose like 1 or 2 games out of their freaking 30 studios and be like, y'all are gonna have the launch title for the new console. I mean, it's very possible. And honestly, we don't even know when the console's going to leak. We don't know if it's going to be a spring, summer, fall thing. All we know is this next console is going to be completely different than what we're used to. It's not just going to be a home console where you put in a disc, whatever. It's going to be something completely different. Whether that's good or bad, we'll just kind of have to see. We don't know what it is. But here's my theory, which honestly is kind of a crazy thing to do if I was Xbox. If they're releasing their handheld this year to coincide with GTA, and their biggest advertisement for it will be you can play GTA 5 on the go handheld, do you understand how insane that is going to blow up? Like, that is like that is dangerous. That is like dangerous marketing. Because number one, you're going to have such high demand for that. Number two, you better hope it runs well. Because if that is your biggest selling point and it runs like dog water on it, you're going to get a lot of backlash for that. And number three, that gives Xbox a huge thing over every other company. Because that's what everybody's going to be playing. And if that's the only way you can play it outside of a traditional home console, 10 FPS GTA 6 gameplay on handheld goes crazy right now. It'd be awesome. Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what they end up doing. Because I don't think they will just randomly just be like, hey, it's releasing this month, pick it up. No, I feel like they're going to treat it as like a really big thing. And obviously, if it is going to come out this year, we're going to see it at the summer showcase. I mean, that's just a given, right? They're not going to do a random announcement on a Tuesday morning, like in April or something. You know, it'll be at the showcase for sure. You know, it'd be really wild because everybody's trying to predict what the post showcase direct will be now for Xbox, because it was Starfield and then it was Call of Duty. Everyone thought it was going to be Fable, but now since it's delayed, we don't really know. What if the post showcase direct is just the handheld direct? Like it's just showcasing the handheld. That would be kind of crazy. That would be quite the plot twist. That would be quite the plot twist. And honestly, I think that's so smart. I think that's so smart. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see with that. All I know is next year is looking really great for Xbox. This year is still really great for Xbox, even though the Fable thing got delayed. And I guess 2027 is sounding like hopefully it's going to be a big year. I mean, I personally don't think Elder Scrolls is coming out next year. I think it's still too soon for Elder Scrolls 6. I think Elder Scrolls 6 is 2027, and so maybe plans have changed. Maybe they were going to release the next console in 2026, but they were like, yo, we need Elder Scrolls 6 to be our launch title. Which, honestly, fair. That is, if you could have any game in your portfolio to launch with the console, it probably would be Elder Scrolls 6. And if they're pushing it back because of that, it makes sense. As much as it is sad, because I think it'd be really smart to do in 2026, as much as I want it in 2026. Business-wise, it kind of does make sense to do it, to push it back with Elder Scrolls, but we'll see. I'm just really curious about the handheld. Like, I'm very interested in it, because I want to know if it is like a PC. I want to know if it's its own UI. I want to know just what it is. I want to know if it's actually Microsoft or if it's like a third-party thing. Like, I want to know what it is. Hopefully we'll see it then. Hopefully we'll see it, because if it's coming out this year, that'd be awesome. That'd be fire. We'll just have to see what it actually does. So, yeah, man. I'm pretty sure that is pretty much about it. I don't think there really is much else. Assassin's Creed releases in 2 weeks, so, or not even, like a little over a week. So we will see how that does. I think the reviews come out on the 18th for that game. So we'll see. You hope it's more powerful than the Steam Deck and ROG Ally. Yeah. I don't really think there's anything else. Man, bro, is it just me or has Jaywood not tweeted in like a hot while? Oh, it was 4 days ago. Yo, actually, we need to talk about the biggest announcement of the week. The Last of Us controller. Peak controller. Let me tell you. Yeah, I'm just joking. That is... What are we doing in PlayStation? All I know is Ghost of Yotei. He's too busy playing games, bro. What? He's too busy playing games, bro. Who's playing games? Bro, but all I know is, yes, Yotei's controller better not be this 1% effort slop. I do not just want a white controller. Oh, Jaywood. Okay. I do not want this white controller with a yellow logo on it, on the big button. If it is that, I'm going to... Oh, my gosh. Like, and even as much as I think they could have done better on the Spider-Man 2 controller, I'll take that. Like, if it's just, like, on one side of the controller, like yellow sleep is like creeping in or something. That's fine. But what is with them and just making a controller with a dang logo on it? Like, low-key, as much as I actually kind of like the God of War controller, that's the same thing. It's just a white and blue controller with a logo on it. Can we actually get creative with this controller, PlayStation? Like, please. Honestly, your coolest controller is that Helldivers 2 controller. That controller went hard, okay? That is a hard controller. Also, Astrobot. That was also creative. But honestly, what else are you doing for Astrobot? You made it look like Astrobot. Mission accomplished. But like, do something like get creative with it. Don't just put a dang logo and color it. Like what are we doing, man? What are we doing? Yeah, we'll have to see. But yeah, I think that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think there is anything else to go over. But hey, you got some a lot of great topics and a lot of great discussion in this podcast. You also learned that Jordan is playing Dragon Age, so now we're gonna have to plan on doing a podcast then. The Concord controller looks way better than it. Yeah, I know. Man, I can't believe he's playing Dragon Age. That's awesome. God, it makes me want to play Dragon Age again. Oh, what a game. What a game. I love it. Actually, I didn't even ask him what he thinks of it. I didn't even ask him if he likes it or not. He's probably over there like, God, this game sucks, dude. I don't want to beat it, but I'm doing it for John. Imagine he's just over there like, he wants to do a podcast, so I guess I'll beat it. But he's just like, God, this game is mid. Oh, that's funny. Oh, that'd be hilarious if we hop on the podcast. He's like, bro, why did you make me play that game? Oh, that would be a crazy plot twist. I don't know. Low key, I've kind of gotten used to being the like sole champion of that game. Like, I've kind of gotten used to it. I kind of like how it feels in a way, being the sole champion of that game. But yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, thank you also for the support on the channel recently. Like I said, we've been doing numbers mainly thanks to that Death Stranding 2 moment. I say moment just because I mean it's a moment in gaming now, but absolutely helped. I'm now over 800 subscribers at 819 now. Been really great. Have a lot of things planned. And yeah, I am excited for Assassin's Creed Shadows. Let me tell you, I just hope it's good. I'm not expecting, personally, my prediction, not that it matters, but my prediction is, I'm guessing it'll be like around the 85 range. That's my guess for it. More realistically, it'll probably be like lower 80s. But I'm just hoping it's at least good. You know what I mean? And more importantly, I'm just hoping it's a commercial success. That way Ubisoft doesn't completely go under. You know what I mean? Like, as long as it sells good, let's be honest, it's really all that matters. Like, for them. To us, we want a phenomenal game. But, like, to them, they just need to make money. So, as long as it sells good, then there may be some sort of future over there. And at least I'm more worried about that because if they go under, then we may never see Prince of Persia remake. We may never see Splinter Cell remake. We may never see Far Cry 7. We may never see a bunch of awesome things. So I really don't want them to have that big of an issue. I would rather, them just keep on surviving in a way. So we'll have to see what happens there. But thank you also for watching the podcast. Appreciate all y'all tuning in. And we will be back next week, probably. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Maybe not, because my sister's coming in next week. And we may actually be playing Assassin's Creed together, maybe. We'll see. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Have a good night, and I will see you whenever y'all decide to watch a video or tune into the next podcast. So appreciate it. I'll see you next one. Check them out. Peace.